step. Everybody at home, I hope you can see it. It's the first example. 39.7% oxygen, 60.3% magnesium. Our question, calculate empirical formula. Now, empirical formula is the formula that shows the simplest ratio between atoms. Okay. So when you get lost, when you are not sure, please ask. It's so nice to have faces in class. You have no idea how nice it is to see you in 3 dimensions and have you here. Okay, but you get the advantage of. When you're not sure, just ask. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do here is we are going to assume, this is step number 1, that we have 100 grams of this one. So if we have 39.7% of 100 grams, we actually have 39.7 grams of oxygen. Now you'll see as the activity illustrated in your book that I didn't write O or O2. I just wrote out oxygen. And I'm sure many of you are wondering, is this O or O2? Okay, here's a little hint. When I talk about oxygen gas, it's O2. You will never be asked when you are calculating empirical formula to calculate O2, because that already gives us a number of oxygens. You hear what I'm saying? Similarly with nitrogen, which we'll do in a later example, not N2. It's just N. So we just go to our periodic table, we get the mass from the periodic table. We don't have to think, is this O or O2? Okay? It's never going to be O2. The only time when it is O2 is when I tell you oxygen gas reacts with something else, then it's O2. Calculate the molecular mass of O2, or oxygen gas, same thing. Okay, so 39.7 grams of oxygen, and we have 60.3 grams of magnesium. Now, what must we do? Remember, when we don't know what to do, we take it to moles. Here's just a little hint as well. I noticed in the homework that some of you are not sure which one we write first, oxygen or magnesium. So here's the rule of thumb. We normally write the metal first and then the non-metal. So magnesium being a metal, how do I know that? It's in group 2. Group 1, 2, 3, transition metals are all metals. In fact, 75% of the periodic table is made of metals. And then what's on the right-hand side of your periodic table, non-metals. If you're really not sure, my second tip to you is to just add them alphabetically. Let's say you have carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. They are all non-metals. Carbon will be first, C, hydrogen next, oxygen last. Why? Because it's in alphabetical order. Okay. So now what must we do? We take it to moles. Now we can't just randomly start doing things. We need to give a formula. So what we're going to do is we're going to write down the amount of moles of oxygen is going to be equal to the mass of oxygen divided by the molar mass of oxygen. That needs to be there. In fact, when you're answering questions like this, normally you'll get 1 mark just for adding the formula, because the examiner or the assessor has to check whether you were actually guiding us to showing what you did. Okay, now, what is unknown here? The amount of moles. Fortunately, this capital N, molar mass, I can always get from my periodic table. The molar mass of oxygen is, if I go to my periodic table, the mass number 16 grams per mole. I'm going to do the same now and just go and take magnesium while my periodic table is open, and just because I know I'm going to use the data, write it down over here as well. For magnesium, I'm going to use 24. Now in some textbooks it might be 24 point something, okay? Doesn't matter. We are just using what is on the periodic table. Okay, so I will give you a variation in the answer if you use 24.31. Let's now go and complete this. Just want to see if everybody at home can see this still. So the amount of moles is going to be equal to, what is the mass here of oxygen? Was given because we assumed we have 100 grams. 39.7, and we divide that by the molar mass of 16. Using your calculator, 39.7 divided by 16 gives me 2.48 moles of oxygen. Now, I'm not saying O2 or anything. I don't know how many oxygens I have. I don't have oxygen gas. Next step, taking this to moles. The amount of moles of magnesium is going to be equal to the mass divided by the molar mass. My mass 60.3 divided by 24. If you use 24.31, that's also fine, depends on what you have on your periodic table. 60.3 divided by 24 gives me 2.5. 2.51 if you round up to 3 decimal. Now what we do is we go and we find the mole ratio, which means we go and calculate the amount of moles of oxygen compared to the amount of moles of magnesium. And normally we would divide it by the smallest number. So I'm going to do that here just to show you what would happen. This is going to be 1, and this is going to be 1.001, which is also basically 1. So we can round this off, which means the empirical formula for this first question in a 1-to-1 ratio will be Mg1. We don't write that subscript line. Any questions about this one? Questions? Make sense? So can you see, even though it feels, especially when you're learning a new skill, you just want to rush to the answer. So we're forgetting some of these steps in our answers. They are very important. Just like it's very important that we give very clear instruction, so we can follow a recipe. It's important that you give very clear indication of your understanding by using the various formulae associated with the question. Okay, let's move on to the second one. I'm just going to delete, we'll just erase this. We have some space. We're looking at the second question, 32.2% aluminium, 67.8% chloride. So what's my first step? Taking it. Okay. What did you say? There we go, assume. Normally this is not a good idea, right? You know how we break out this word. Assume makes an ass out of you and me. Not really, I'm kidding. We mustn't make assumptions in one name. But when this is a safe assumption, like the sun is shining right now, it's a safe assumption to say it's daytime. Okay, that's safe. So some assumptions are safe. So we can assume that if I have a percentage breakdown and I have 100 grams of it, we know what the amount of grams will be. So we can assume that we have 100 grams of this sample, which means we are going to have 32.2 grams of aluminium and 67.8 grams of chloride. Now, if we go to our periodic table, we go and we get the molar mass for both of these substances. The molar mass for aluminium, it's a metal, it's about 27 grams per mole. And the molar mass of chloride is going to be 19 grams per mole. So now we go and we use our mole calculation. This is going to be the amount of moles of aluminium is equal to the mass divided by the molar mass. So what is the mass of aluminium? 32.2 grams. And the molar mass, 27 We use our calculators. 32.2 divided by 27 gives me 1.19 moles of aluminium. We do the same thing for fluoride. Mass divided by molar mass. The mass 67.8 divided by 19. This is going to give me 3.5 of fluoride. My next step here is to go calculate the mole ratio. So I'm going to calculate the mole ratio of aluminium to the mole ratio of fluoride. Aluminium 1.19 to 3.57. In this case, I divide by the smallest number on each side. And the set gives you something like 2.99, which you can round off to 3. So this is going to give you a ratio of 1 to 3. Therefore, the mole ratio here is going to be for aluminium fluoride Al83. That's your final answer. How many did you get to this answer? Awesome, well done. Okay. If you couldn't get to it, can you see where you made a mistake? Yes? Okay. It's unfortunately very humbling, this subject, because it helps us only to look at what we don't want to look at. When we look at our mistakes, that's how we do it. It's painful sometimes. Okay, so I want to do this last one with you. I want to erase this first question, so it's just a little bit easier for everyone. This is now going to be question 3, which I'm just going to move up here. 24.4% calcium, 17.1% nitrogen, and 58.5% oxygen. Okay, so our first step is to assume. So we assume we have 100 grams of this sample, which means that we are going to have 24. You must write this down by the way. Okay? If you leave out that you are assuming and you just convert it to grams, you're going to lose it all. Okay. The 24.4 grams of calcium, 17.1 grams of nitrogen, 58.5 grams of oxygen. Then I'm going to go to my periodic table and find the molar masses for all of these various atoms. The molar mass for calcium is 30 grams per mole. The molar mass for nitrogen, 14 grams per mole. And the molar mass for oxygen, we've done it already, 16 grams per mole. So we're going to use this, and we're going to use this to calculate the number of moles that we have. Okay, so the first one, number of moles of calcium is going to be equal to the mass of calcium divided by the molar mass of calcium. The mass of calcium, 24.4 grams, the molar mass, 14. Let's calculate it. 24.4 divided by 40 gives you 0.61 moles of calcium. Once again, the detail here, when you have the answer of 0.61, you feel so happy, then we don't know what it is. Moles of calcium, you need to add that as well. Let's do the second part, the number of moles of nitrogen, mass divided by molar mass, the mass 17.1, the molar mass 14. 17.1 divided by 14 equals 1.22 moles of nitrogen, and the last one, oxygen, mass divided by molar mass, 58.5 divided by 16. This is going to give me 3.66 divided out of 2 decimals. So to calculate the number of moles of calcium to the number of moles of nitrogen to the number of moles of oxygen. By the way, why am I writing in this order? Normally we write metals first. Calcium is a metal. And between nitrogen and oxygen, alphabetically, nitrogen is before oxygen. What is the number of moles of calcium here? 0.61 to 1.2 to 3.66. So what can we do here? We can divide by the smallest number. Now just do it like this. In this first case, it's going to give me 1.22 divided by 0.61 should give me 2. And then this last one, 3.66 divided by 0.61 gives me 6. So here my mole ratio is going to be calcium, nitrogen, 2, oxygen, 6. Happy with that? Okay. There's another question just that I want to mention about this specific topic, empirical formula. What if we got a mole ratio that gave us a number that wasn't close to, let's say, 1,99, we know we can run up to 2, or 2,001, we can run up to 2 as well. What if it gave us a number like 2,33 or 2,5? We can't just let go of that, okay? So I want to show you, I'm just going to make an example up out of thin air. It's not going to be an official formula, but I do think it's worth mentioning. If you get, let's say, the number of moles of substance X to the number of moles of substance Y, let's just use 2, not 3. And this number was, let's make it 2, and this number was 2.5. We can't just round this up, down or up. So what you then have to go and do is take it to the closest whole number, which normally means multiplying it by 2. So the mole ratio will be 4 to 5. That would be the simplest ratio, in which X and Y we find would be X 4, Y 5. Okay. I want to show you one more example. I have seen it before in tests and exams, so I think it's worth mentioning. You know, in class it's like we teach you how to ride a bicycle. Homework, it's like riding, let's say, a four-wheeler. It's a bit more challenging than riding a bicycle because you've got, and then in the exams we expect you to, perform on a skateboard at the X Games. It's that difficult. So let's rather look at the most difficult things that we can look at. If you get something like this, number of moles of, let's make this A, number of moles of B. And this one was 1, and on this side we have 3,3. We can't just take this down to 3 or up to 4. So how can we change this to a whole number? Multiplying it by 3. You hear what I'm saying? It's going to give me 9,9923, which we can round off there as B, which means it will be A, B, B, B. Just make a note of this. If this ever happens, okay. So this ties in more to percentage composition, our next topic, but I want us to just get this in our foundation now whilst we're busy with it. Any questions online?